Let me smile.
Smile. All right. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I do want to share my screen for the beginning part of it.
Okay.
All right, guys. Welcome, everyone. If I can figure out what I want to show here. There we go. All right, guys. Welcome. I am so glad you're on this call. This is going to be, for me, I am super excited. I've gotten to watch Shannon in action and seen her passion for the weight loss portion of it. And I don't know if any of you are like me, where you still have some pounds to go and you're kind of excited about that. And you have some ambassadors or some customers that are struggling and you really need help on exactly how to coach them. And guys, I have watched her coach and she's fantastic. So hold on to your seatbelts and get your pen out. I have mine out. I have my paper. I'm going to be taking notes too. So I am super duper excited about this. I wanted to start out my journey. I've been in for 7 months. So this is me. I am down 40 pounds. I'm actually smaller than that picture. I need to do a new one. So I'm down 40 pounds. So yay, that's exciting. And yeah, I'm so excited and been working hard, just got off Whole30. I'm eating bread again, just a little bit. I know we're going to be talking about that. But so I'm super excited and about Plexus and what it's done for me. And Shannon, I do want you, I've had your before and after right here, and I do want you to share in the very beginning, I want you to share, your weight loss Plexus testimony and really how that worked for you. So go. You have the floor.
Yeah. I'm Shannon McComber, Emerald Ambassador with Plexus. I joined Plexus in June of 2014. The only reason I joined is because Jana Garcia kept haggling me to join. Actually, she didn't really haggle me. She was very nice about it. She would consistently follow up with me and say, I really want you to consider this. And she's like, can I call you on the phone and talk to you about it? And I was like, no, I don't like talking on the phone. And I mean, that was true. I really don't like talking on the phone. And she'll tell you that I am not a phone talker.
Me either.
I'm just not. But I did order a 7-day. I got it in. After 3 days, I decided, this stuff really works. So I joined because if I was going to take it, I wanted it as cheap as I could get it. So I had no intention of selling. I had no intention of growing a team. I didn't want anything to do with that. I was happy being overweight, eating my food. And let me change that. I thought I was happy sitting at home, doing nothing, being a stay-at-home mom. That was it. But I quickly came to see that there was more in it in Plexus that God had designed for me than I originally had planned for myself. So over the last 2 years, I've lost 55 pounds. That all did not come off at the same time or all at once. It's been a progress over the 2 years. I did lose, when I first started, I lost probably 35 within the first 4 to 5 months. So, that's how I did it. And then I've lost the other 20 over the next year and a half. So, a lot of people are like, oh, you lost 55 pounds. I want to lose 55 pounds right now too. Well, I lost 55 pounds, but it was over a year and over 2 years. So you can't put a time, to me, that's my biggest thing is you can't put a time limit on how quick you're going to lose weight. Because we'll get into that, it's about being consistent with what you're doing. So anyways, that's about it. That first picture is me when I was probably at my heaviest, and then the after is at convention this year. So big changes. I still look at that person in the after picture and I'm like, is that really me? I mean, just because for 38 years, I was the person on the left, and that's what I had become accustomed to in the mirror. That's what I had become accustomed to every day, seeing in pictures, and so even still to look at myself in the mirror and to see pictures like that, it's still hard to believe that's me, to be honest.
You look fabulous. You look fabulous. And it's interesting.
Oh, stop.
You do. I love your haircut too. I love that you're like, I didn't lose it all at once. I know we're going to get into that and how it's been a journey, and it's not a get skinny quick thing. And we know with Plexus products that they're natural products and they work with our body, and they're a tool. And so we want to make sure we say that right here, right now. They're a tool that we use. They work with your body, and they're natural products that work with our body. And God made all of our bodies different. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as we go along. So I want to start, just kick it off good. And I want you to tell me what you personally did to maximize your weight loss.
For me, when I started, after I got that 7 days, I made it up in my mind that I was going to do this. This is what I was going to do. I was going to commit to it. This was a no ifs, ands, or buts about it for me. I decided in my mind and heart, and I think that's a big part of when you start a journey like this. It has to be, you have to make your mind up in your head and in your heart. I'm going to do this, and failure is not an option. And that's what I did. I started the products. For me, I knew it was something I had to be consistent with, and so I promised myself to be consistent with my products. And then I also, and drinking my water, a lot of that's hard when you're first starting. So I just started pushing myself to drink my water. Did I like it? No, I didn't. But I did it anyways because I knew that's what my body needed. Sometimes we just have to tell our flesh to shut up and do it anyways. I mean, that's really what it is. You're like, oh, but I don't want to drink more water. Shut up and go get you another bottle of water. Just go get it. That's my philosophy on life. I'm like that with myself. I'm like that with my customers. I'm like that with my ambassadors. I'm like, there's no whining. You know what you need to do, so there's no sense in complaining about it. I mean, that's how I approach things with my people. I'm upfront and honest, and they all know that's what they're going to get from me from the get-go. The other thing I did along with my products is that I started cutting all my food in half. Like normally before Plexus, if I went to lunch somewhere, I would go out and order a burger and French fries and a Coke, and I would sit and drink 2 or 3 Cokes at lunch. Easy. I would do that. So, and that's another thing when people say, oh, I can't drink that much water, but you can sit down and drink 3 Route 44s. That makes no sense. I know it tastes so good. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I started cutting my food in half. When I would go out to dinner, I would cut, if I had a burger, I would cut the burger in half. And I would ask for a to-go box immediately we eat out a lot. Jana can tell you this. Anybody that talks to me on a regular basis, they'll tell you we eat out a lot. Probably 50 to 60% of our meals are eating out. So, and I maintain my weight. And so that tells you that I watch what I eat. Yeah. You can eat out that much and not gain weight unless you're watching what you're eating. But I did that. I cut my food in half. If I went for Mexican, which I love, I would count out 10 tortilla chips. I kid you not. And I would not eat any until my meal came. So it's really just in how you eat your food and changing your habits of your food. And that's what I did to maximize my weight loss was I made some subtle changes. I didn't make big changes because I knew if I made big changes, I wouldn't stick with it. So I needed to not deprive myself. And so I just started cutting back from what I was consuming, which was a whole lot of food. And then I set fitness goals for myself. Like I said, when I started, I wanted to commit and I was going to go at it 110% and not just, well, maybe this will work. Maybe it won't. My thought process going into it was, this is going to work. And I'm going to give it every single opportunity I can to be successful. Failure wasn't an option. So I'm like, this is going to be successful and I'm going to put my mind to it. I'm going to do it regardless. So I set fitness goals for myself. I started going to the gym. I wasn't working out before Plexus. I was doing nothing. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, well, the gym is so intimidating. It is. And I won't lie and say it's not, because it is. But you have to remember that everybody that's at that gym, no matter how good they look, they had a first day too. So when they went to the gym and they started, they had a first day. And, you know, most people are going to be really understanding when they see you. When I see people at the gym and they may be overweight and I see them in class and they are working hard, I am so excited for that person, because I was there. I was at that place in my journey, you know, and even I'll walk up to them and after class and like give them a high five, tell them good job, just because I want them to know I'm glad you're here and good for you to be here, you know. And it doesn't always have to be, so have you heard about Plexus? You don't have to be like that. You can just be the person that goes up and tells somebody good job and encourage them. And then you're actually building a relationship where sometime you could bring that up, but that's not appropriate on that particular day. But that's a whole nother phone call. But I would say those are the 3 things that I did to maximize my weight loss with Plexus. Plexus was the tool that I used, but I started a workout routine and I started basically I started going and doing what I could. And that's what I did. You know, I had the model of what you can when you can. And that's what you just have to do. You have to start out small. If that means walking from your house to the mailbox, then get up and walk from your house to the mailbox every day. And if it's doing it 2 or 3 times a day, then do it 2 or 3 times a day. I started the workout routine. I started cutting my food in half, cutting it in half. And then I set fitness goals for myself, because I just wanted to have certain goals that I wanted to meet. I'm a competitive person.
No.
I'm very competitive. I loved sports when I was in high school and college. I loved sports. But then, you know, I got out of it, got overweight, didn't want to do it because I was intimidated, didn't feel like I could do that. But, you know, so I just set goals for myself, and I competed in my first mini triathlon. I started swimming, running, and biking. So, and it was a challenge for me. And I was like, I'm going to do this. And it was scary. I was scared to death to do it. But I knew that was something I had to do. And I would tell anybody to do that. If you're on your Plexus journey, set a goal like that. Even if it's just signing up for a 5K, you don't have to run that 5K. You can walk it. You can jog it. You can jog. Walk backwards. I don't care. Push your kid in a stroller. But set that goal and do it and stick to it and show up and be there and be present for it. And you will not regret how great you feel at the end of that 5K. You know, the accomplishment that you did. You're like, I did it. So anyway, that would be what I did to maximize for myself.
That's fantastic. I think that you said something about cutting your food in half, and I think that taking the chips out and waiting till the end. I've gone up and down and up and down. I've been at almost 400 pounds, so I get it. I get it. I've been on that absent-minded eating, because I think a lot of our fat is in our brain. I mean, I don't know if you agree.
Oh, totally is mental.
In our brain. And if we can go, okay, and make a commitment in our brain. I mean, I was able for 30 days to do Whole30. That's huge. And those who went out to eat with me, they know how hard that was. And when I was out away from my house, it's hard. But if you commit in your brain and you make a decision, I mean, that's where you're absent-minded eating. Yes. You have to be conscious. Mm-hmm. You have to be conscious in your
Absolutely.
mind. Absolutely. I have a question on what you said. How often did you go to the gym? How often did you work out? Were you there every day? Were you there for 30 minutes, an hour?
For me, I was there 6 days a week, and I worked out an hour to an hour and a half every day. Now, that was me. That's what I wanted. Like I said, I committed hardcore to it because I wanted to change my life. And if you are to the point where you are ordering Plexus, you are an ambassador, and you're on this call and you ordered Plexus, you are at that point in your life where you're ready to make that change and that commitment. You know, maybe you're not ready to go to the gym 6 days a week. I was, because I was ready to go, throw myself in 110%, and whatever happens, happens. And, you know, and sometimes you just have to throw your intimidation out the window. That's what I had to do. I just had to say, you know what? I'm going to have to not be afraid of this. I'm just going to have to commit and do it. And it was scary to go in the gym by yourself and not know anyone. And what I did is I did what was comfortable for me, and that was group fitness classes. I love group fitness classes. Well, for one, I love social interaction. I love to talk to people. So being in there with other people actually was less intimidating for me. When I started going, I stood in the back, in the very back row. I took my place and stood in the back row because that's where I felt comfortable, and I wasn't intimidated back there, and that's okay. Go in early, girl, to get the back spots. It's like church. If you want the back row, you got to get there early.
That's great. That's great. So like Zumba, did you shake your booty?
I'm not a big Zumba fan.
Really?
Just because I'm not, like, I love to dance and like have a good time, but like Zumba, I don't know. But I have recently started going to Zumba, and really for me, it was a mental thing. I was like, oh, that's not a hard enough workout.
You're wrong. I've done it.
I know. I found that out lately. But what I was doing cardio kickboxing. I was doing spinning classes. I was doing barbell strength classes, and that's just an overall strength class. It works every major muscles in the body for an hour. Cardio kickboxing is my favorite. Strike is one of my favorites. That's a lot of Muay Thai boxing type thing. I love it. And I love, like I said earlier, I was very competitive and like sports, and and I just kind of grew as I got more confidence. I moved up in the room, little by little. And now I show up because I want to be on the front row.
Nice.
And the reason I want to be on the front row is because I want to be able to see myself in the mirror. And people are like, oh, don't be so vain. But that's really not what it's about. It's because I want to be in the front row in front of everyone else, because if other people are in front of me now, I get distracted. Mm-hmm. And if I'm in the front row and all I see is the instructor, I am laser focused on that. And I'm also laser focused on my technique, because if I'm going to do this, I want to do it right. And because you want to do things right and you want to protect your knees. I'm not getting any younger, so I need to protect my knees and my ankles, and I need to make sure I'm doing it right.
That's great.
And have fun. That's the most important thing, is have fun. Find things that motivate you to get out and move that's fun. Put on your headset, go outside, listen to some good music, worship music if that's what you like. If you like hip hop music, if you like rap, whatever you like, just get your feet moving, listen to it, take your kids for a walk, get out there and jam up and down the street, have a good time.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I just recently got the Fitbit, and so I found that, just challenging myself how little I walk, number one. Number two, just challenging myself to grow and get, to where I take more steps and
get moving.
Mm-hmm. Get moving. And get moving. It hurts, but get moving. That's what the ease is for, right, guys?
That's right.
That's what the ease is for.
Exactly.
All right, so let's get down to, if we have a customer who, and I know some ambassadors, and because we remember ambassadors are still our customers, especially the brand new ones, who are really having a hard time losing weight. Some of them have a lot to lose. Some people don't have as much to lose, and so those last few pounds take a little bit to come off, and they can get discouraged with people who have a lot to lose, who are losing a little faster. So what can we do to coach them and really point them in the right direction to help them lose and to help them get on the right track?
Well, I think a big part of it, in order for us to coach people, our customers and our ambassadors, I think that we have to be knowledgeable ourselves. I think that requires us to do a little bit of research, and that's what I had to do. I had to start researching a little bit, because when I have a customer or even an ambassador, I ask them how tall they are. And let me reiterate this. I am very upfront with my ambassadors and my customers. I ask them the hard questions. You can't be afraid to ask the hard questions. You can do it. You just have to do it in a loving way. Don't be afraid to ask the hard questions, though. And you don't want to be, a lot of times you think, well, I don't want to ask the hard questions because, what if they say they don't like the product? Or what if they want to return it? Well, that's just part of it. That's just part of talking to them. And the thing is, you may say something to them that makes it click and changes, and then they're a preferred customer, and then they end up becoming an ambassador, then they end up becoming your rock star. So don't be afraid of what they might say. A lot of that stems from fear of not knowing the answers. So make sure you know the answers. And if you don't know the answer, say, well, you know what? That's really interesting. I'm not real sure. Let me get with my upline and I'll get right back to you just as soon as I can. Don't be afraid to say that, because people like that. People like to know you don't have all the answers, but it also puts a little faith in them to know that they have other people behind them that's coaching them and helping them along too. So there's lots of things that all work together. When you're talking to somebody, I will ask them how tall they are, and I will ask them how much they weigh. Don't be afraid to ask people how much they weigh, because there's a big difference in coaching someone. I'm 5'8" and I weigh 170 to 173 pounds. That fluctuates. Now, I could be coaching someone who's 5 foot tall and weighs 170 pounds. Well, 170 pounds on someone that's 5'8" is way different than 170 pounds on someone that's 5 foot or 5'1". Somebody that's 5 foot, 5'1", that's probably considered morbidly obese. Somebody that's on 5'8", I'm at 172, and by medical terminology, I'm still overweight. I'm in a size 8. I'm like, if size 8's overweight, I'll take it. Sorry.
Serious. Wow.
I'm not ever going to cry about being a size 8. So sorry, ain't gonna happen. But when I started my weight loss journey, I was in a 20. So
wow.
Yeah. So, but before, when I started Plexus, I think I was an 18. So I've gone from an 18 to an 8, and that's over 2 years. Again, that wasn't, I lost 30 pounds, I lost 40 pounds, and I'm size 8, hey, in 60 days. No, it didn't happen that way.
No.
2 years of consistency. But anyways, find out how tall they are, find out how much they weigh, and let them know that you're not doing this to be nosy, but this is so that you can give them better coaching. You want to be able to provide them the best care that you can, and so that requires you to ask them some questions that may or may not be uncomfortable for them. And you can say that up front. I may ask you some questions that may not be real comfortable for you to answer, but I really need you to answer them as honestly as possible, because that's really going to help me give the best scenario for you for losing weight and for the right products for you. And talk to them. And any time that you can do a face-to-face with someone, and when you're talking to them about their weight loss, is huge, because people will tell you a lot in their face.
True.
It's true. You may ask them, and for me, the biggest thing is water. It's easy to say you're drinking all your water on Facebook. I'm drinking all my water. Yes. Now, if you're talking to somebody face-to-face, like I'm looking at Jessica, I look at her and say, did you drink all your water today, Jessica?
Yes, ma'am. I'm almost done.
Like, yes, ma'am. I got see, I've got a 50-ounce bottle right here on my desk.
Almost done.
A lot of times, if you're talking to somebody, your customer, if you can do a face-to-face, and we can't always do that, I've really tried now to incorporate Zoom calls with my customers, just to call them on. I use my phone. I use the app on my phone. I have them download the app. And I'll say, hey, when's a good time to set up a coaching call for you this week? So we can talk about your products and your progress and see where you're at. And they're like, okay, let me see what's good for me. And then I'll schedule it and I'll call. Just because looking at their faces and looking at their eyebrows and their eyes, if they're going like this and looking up to the right or to the left and they're trying to figure out an answer to give you, chances are they're not drinking their water and they're not eating the right food.
Yeah.
But that's what I would say is, you want to ask the hard questions. Are they drinking their water? Are you staying consistent with your products? And when I say consistent, are you taking the same products at the same time every day? Is your regimen the same every single day? Because consistency is key when you're taking supplements. You want to be consistent when you take them and how you take them. If you're fluttering all around, I'm going to take this here or I'm going to take this there, you may not get the results that you could get if, say, you're taking your bio cleanse every day at 11 a.m. I have it in my phone to go off every day at 11 a.m. for me to take my bio cleanse, because I'll start working, talking to customers, talking to ambassadors. And so I have to have it on my phone for it to pop up for me to go and take it. And when I don't take it consistently, I can totally tell the difference in my digestive tract. Let's just put it that way. But I mean, that's a big thing. You want to be consistent with your products and at the same times that you're taking your products. Let me see, I had a list, but I want to make sure that I get it all. And that's the thing, you want to drink the water. You want to make sure they're taking their products consistently, the same products at the same time every day. And then the next question is always a little bit difficult to ask. You want to ask them if they're having consistent bowel movements. That's not an easy question to ask. And like I said, at the beginning, say some of these questions may not be real comfortable for you to answer. But if you open that up from the beginning, then it's always the standard when you're talking to them. They know that question's going to come down the road. So if you do it from the get-go, then it's just normal. There's nothing odd about it. It's just normal. You want to make sure that they're having a bowel movement at least once a day. If they're like once a week, once every 2 weeks, they need to up their BioCleanse a lot. That's just, for me, ideally, I'd like for people to go twice a day. I know some people are like, oh, twice a day, that's a lot. But I thought, oh, I'm great. Once a day, I've never had trouble. I've always gone at least once a day. But then when I started my BioCleanse, I was like, oh, my body doesn't need that. But you do need that, because basically your body can produce up to 1 pound of feces a day. So if you're not shooting out 1 pound a day, then you should be going more than once a day. I'm just being real, people. I'm just keeping it real. But that's true. It's true. Your body can produce up to 1 pound a day. So when people say, I've gained 1 pound, well, did you go potty? Did you go number 2 today? I mean, that's the truth. It really is. And, yeah. We all grow up talking about poop, and it's funny. Well, some people don't think it's funny. I think it's funny. I think it's funny. And I have kids, so talking about poop is not a big deal. But talk to them about that. You don't have to get into details, I do.
She asks me if it's an S.
Well, I ask them, is it pasty? Does it come out easy? Are you having to strain? Because there's a lot of things that your poop will tell you. If it's hard for them to get it out and it's like a hard log when it comes out, they're not drinking their water.
Yeah. They're
just not. But I mean, if it's coming out and sliding out smooth, then they're drinking their water and doing what they're supposed to do. I mean, I'm just telling you like it is, people. I'm just being honest, okay?
We should have had like a warning at the beginning.
Right? You probably should have. Well, most people getting on this call know me, so
it's true.
They're like, you don't know what's gonna come out of her mouth, but it's honest. It's true. But anyway, those are the things that I like to coach on the most, is making sure that they're drinking their water, they're staying consistent with their products, the same regimen every day, and then that they're having regular movement in their digestive tract. And then there was one other thing I'm trying to think. I can't remember what I was going to say. It just went, whoo.
Well, I have a question. So you said the same products, the same time, every day. So what if it's been 7 months, I hit a plateau, I'm not losing, should I change my regimen or keep it the same? Yes?
Yes. I will tell you, for me personally, and I think this is really, when you're taking the products, you're going to learn your body. You're going to learn your consistency and your body. For me, my body, every 6 weeks, I did a reset. And people are like, well, what's a reset? For me, my reset was I went off all products except X Factor. I would stay on my X Factor just because I wanted to keep the multivitamin going through my system. And a reset for me was about 4 to 5 days. So I would go off of everything for 4 to 5 days and only take X Factor. Now, you may not be comfortable doing that, and that's okay. Like I said, that was my body. That's how my body needed it. Now, you may need to stay on your Slim and your X Factor for that 4 to 5 days. Maybe or maybe 2 days is enough for you. If you go off your basically for me is how I saw it, was on the 4th or 5th day when I started feeling that little crash in the afternoon. that 2 o'clock crash, or I started craving sugars a little more or something like that, that's when I knew, okay, it's time to go back on my products. And for me, I knew it took 4 to 5 days. I have someone on my team, it took them 30 days to go back, to start feeling. But she was doing a hard reset to really get her body back, resetting. And it took her 30 days to get to that point. But she did it. But then when she hit that wall, and she hit it hard. Like, okay. And then she went right back on her products and started seeing a little bit of action. So yeah, you just kind of have to learn your body personally. And then also when you're coaching your customers, really take good notes when you're coaching your customers. Ask them questions, did you do a reset? Okay, take notes while you're on your reset, how you're feeling each day. Continue to drink your water. Don't stop drinking your water. Whatever you do, don't stop drinking your water, because you want to keep it flushing your system. Ask them to write down how they're feeling. And when they get to like whatever day they're starting to feel, well, I'm really starting to drag, that's when you know, okay, you got to get back on your product. And, for some people that may be 2 days, some people that might be 6 or 7 days, but that's it. You just kind of have to gauge your body personally. And again, this is all my opinion. This is nothing medical.
Sure.
This is all my personal opinion and what I've learned over 2 years and helping myself and helping customers. But that's what I do, a reset. For me, I did a reset every 6 weeks. That's how often I did a change. Some people go longer than that. For me, I know with my body, especially now, because I'm in a lot better physical condition than I was when I first started, every 6 weeks I have to change up my supplements. And when I do that, I'll do my reset. And when I start back, I take them at a different time than I took them the session before, if that makes sense. Like if the first 6 weeks I was taking my Slim and X Factor 30 minutes before breakfast, I may start taking my Slim at 2:30 in the afternoon on my second round. Does that make sense? The first 6 weeks I would do my Slim before breakfast. The second 6 weeks I would do my Slim in the afternoon, like at 2:30. I would still continue to take my X Factor in the morning, just because I want to have X Factor in the morning. Sometimes I will take my BioCleanse at 11. Sometimes I would take my BioCleanse with my pink drink in the afternoon. And really it's what works best for your body. And basically what I did is, after doing all those resets, I wrote down each 6 weeks the regimen that I did. And I just started alternating those 3 regimens. And that's what I would follow, were those 3 regimens, and just kept going, well, this is regiment 1, regiment 2, regiment 3. And so every 6 weeks I would start that new regiment after my reset. That's what I did.
Okay.
It worked for me.
It worked. Yeah, it worked for you. I think that, and I think you said something huge about listening to your body, and that just really, that's something that I've learned through the Plexus products, is really how to listen to my body and know that, hey, God made us all different. And so your body is one way, and you have to do a hard reset for 5 days that one person had to do for 30. And I may not have to do a hard reset. I may be able to change my products to a different time without stopping. And
Exactly.
And I think that we have to listen. We have to listen, okay, if I take BioCleanse, if I start a regimen and I change it up and I'm like, okay, I take BioCleanse at this time, and that's not working, it's keeping me up at night. And some people, it helps them sleep at night. And some people take their X Factor at night because they love it at night. Some people pour it out in their Slim. I mean, it really, you have to learn your body and learn what works for you, and really learn how to listen to your body. And I like how you say you wrote it down.
Yes, so, write it down.
That's huge, to write down. And I'm guessing you probably wrote down, like, did you have more results on this regimen, or when you start with this many?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And, I know a lot of people are not a big proponent of the scale and weight loss. I'm gonna share with you what I do. Again, this is what works for my brain, okay? I weigh in the morning as soon as I get up, and I also weigh myself right before I go to bed. And people are like, you weigh twice a day? Doesn't that drive you nuts? And I'm like, no, not really, because the reason, I think it all has to do with your mindset and why you're doing it, why you're weighing. If you're weighing just to see whether you failed or you or you didn't fail for the day, then you shouldn't be weighing every day. You shouldn't be doing what I'm telling you to do. You have to have your mind in the right place to do what I'm telling you I did. I weigh in the morning because I want to have a gauge of how my day is going to be. So I may start my day at, say, 173, right? Then I do that before I take my products. So, 173 in my skivvies. That's what I do. That's just how I weigh, because I want it to be the same. I want to have an honest, true weight every morning. That's the same. So then I'll take my products and go about my day. And then at night, before I go to bed, I will weigh myself. Now, I know my body. And if I started at 173 in the morning and I'm at 176 or 177 at night, I ate too much. You know what I mean? Or I can tell the types of food that I ate, because if I'm at 177 at night and then when I wake up the next morning and I'm at and I only lost like a pound, that's indicative of the foods that you ate the day before. That means that they're not processing in your body overnight, and you need to be able to get that out of your body. It shouldn't take more than 3 days to get what you're eating. 48 hours later, what you ate 48 hours ago should be out of your body. So for me, it's just indicative of the type of foods I'm eating, if I'm holding water, because sometimes I'm at 173, and then at night I'm like 174, which means I had a good day. I ate like I was supposed to eat. I did what I was supposed to do. And when I wake up the next morning and I'm at 173 again, then I know. And you can't stress out about being 2 or 3 pounds, fluctuating 2 or 3 pounds. That's just normal body fluctuation. Now, if you go up 5 pounds and you hold that 5 pounds for more than 2 or 3 weeks, then you've gained fat. You've just gained weight. But you could also be retaining water. And that's another thing I need to point out to people too, is that it is possible for you to drink too much water. It is. People are like, oh, well, I weigh 300 pounds, so I'm trying to drink 150 ounces a day. Well, some people will require that. Some people will not. Some people will not require 150 ounces of water. I know for my body, when I first started, I was drinking about 120 ounces of water a day when I started. Now, after 2 years, I know that my body thrives the best on 80 to 90 ounces of water a day. And that's just, if you take half of my weight, it's about 90 ounces of water, about 85 ounces. And that's what I know. My body is about 80 ounces really is what suits my body best, is 80 ounces a day. I know, and I can tell when I drink that and I'm consistent with that I feel brighter, I'm more alert, I don't feel waterlogged. If you do have that feeling where you're like, whoa, and your eyeballs are floating and you just feel like that all day, then you may be drinking too much water, and that's okay to cut back on the water. Cut back. I tell my people, if you feel like you're drinking too much, I always tell my people, shoot for 90 ounces minimum in the day. Let that be your minimum, is 90 ounces of water. If your body requires greater amounts of water, bare minimum, shoot for 90. And then if you get to that, great. If you don't, just make it a goal to get to it, add up to it, a little bit each day, so. Sorry.
No, you're good. No, I agree. I have to drink a lot of water. So, and I think the biggest thing, and I think we could do a whole call on knowing your body and how to listen to your body.
Absolutely.
Just honest truth. I really think we could, because if you can really start listening to your body and listen to the signals and how to recognize what signals it's giving to you, I really think that that's huge. And I think Plexus is a great tool. All of the products are a great tool to help you listen. Listen to your body. So I think that's great. And I have a question. So have you always weighed twice a day, or did you start that once you got down to?
I started when I started working out more aggressively, and really, when I really got into the fitness side of things, because over the 2 years, I've really gotten more into the fitness side of things and the types of foods I eat, reading labels. I never thought I would be a label reader ever, because, me and little Debbie were like this.
Yeah.
She was Me and little Debbie were soul sisters. You know, if there was a fudge round, it was gone. Because it was just going to be gone, you know. And you know, I do talk to my people about that too. Let's just talk about that right now.
Yeah.
Just about that. When I started, I definitely had food issues, food addictions, and a lot of people, they don't realize that. They don't really see food as a real addiction. But let me tell you, food is a real addiction. When you are hiding fudge rounds in the cabinet because you don't want your spouse or your kids to know you have it, so you hide it in a special place, that's food addiction.
Yeah.
It is. And, you know, for me, I didn't realize it before, you know, that it was an addiction. For me, I thought it was that's just what it was. It's just part of who I was always going to be, the person that hid the fudge rounds. But I want people to realize that that's something that you need to deal with. I had to deal with that. You know, I realized that I did have a food addiction, that where, you know, when you're sneaking food, or you're going to McDonald's at 3:00 in the afternoon and using cash because you don't want your spouse to know you stopped at McDonald's or Brahms. That's, and I'm not pointing a finger. I'm pointing it right at myself, because those are all things I did.
Yeah.
All things I did. I was guilty. And, you know, I really immersed myself in God's word, and I prayed, you know, that God would give me the strength to cut that and not do those things. And also, when I started doing Plexus and I started gaining a little more self-confidence in myself, I started building self-confidence in my abilities to say no, and that I didn't have to go to McDonald's for that afternoon fix, because I was getting my fix, because I was healthy and strong and powerful. And, you know, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I don't need that stuff. I don't need that stuff to feel good about myself. I don't need that stuff to give me comfort. You know, if you have to go drink a bottle of water, whenever you feel like you got to eat something, or you have that desire to sneak something away, go drink a bottle of water, or go outside and go for a walk. And that's what I had to do. I had to retrain my brain to change. And a lot of that is just how I was raised. I was also raised that whenever you did something good, your reward was food. It was food. And, you know, and that was something that I had to change in my life with my own kids. I had to make that change, that when they do something well at school, because the old Shannon, when they would do well at school, or they would lose a tooth or something like that, we would go to McDonald's and have ice cream. So I realized as a parent, now this is just my opinion, I'm not telling anybody else to do this, or if you do it, that's great. I'm not saying it's not right. For me, I knew I had to make changes in my life and my kids' lives. And so now when they do something great, and that I want to give them a reward for it, we go to the Dollar Tree, and they get to pick out 2 things at the Dollar Tree. And you would think you're giving them $1 million. You know, to go to the Dollar Tree and pick out a little puzzle or whatever, you know, something sticky you throw against the wall and it sticks, you know, they're happy, you know, or spray fuzz or whatever, spray string, silly string. They love that too. But I think it just is, and I didn't incorporate all these things all at once. It was over time that these things were incorporated. And I think that's what you have to give yourself, is time. Don't expect yourself to do all these things in a month, because it's not going to happen, and you don't want to put unrealistic expectations on yourself and on your customers. The more upfront you are with it for yourself and with your customers, the easier it's going to be with them. And especially if they've had a chronic illness, or they have hormone issues, or they have thyroid issues, you may encounter a little bit of a steeper hill to climb with customers like that, and ambassadors. And it takes a lot of work. You really have to help them find, and you as their coach cannot get discouraged. You have to keep looking, keep asking questions. If you don't know, message me. If you don't know, message your upline and say, look, this person's struggling with this, you know, but always go to your sponsor first and then work up. If they don't know the answer, then have them contact their sponsor to give you a little bit of coaching. So, yeah.
I think that's huge. And I think you have to, every jewel that I've ever heard in their Plexus journey, all the diamonds, they always say you have to learn and you have to grow. And I think that, you know, we want to grow as a person, we're going to grow as a leader. And I think those things are important, but I also think that it's part of the weight loss as well, because we're going to learning and we're growing and we're learning our body and we're growing in ourselves. So we have to learn, okay, so I had 3 cookies today. I have to forgive myself, right? I know that tomorrow is a brand new day, a brand new day, and I get to start over. Now don't go have 3 more because you already had 3, right? You have to, again, it's in your brain, and you have to go, okay, I'm going to do better tomorrow. I'm going to grow and I'm going to learn. And it's all a process. And I think that's huge.
And the thing is I don't want anybody to think that I'm like this clean eater or I'm on like salmon and veggies every day, because that is not the case. I will tell you, for dinner tonight, I had pizza. We went and picked up from the pizza shop pizza. But here's the thing, when we would have pizza pre-Plexus, I'd have 4 slices, maybe even 5 slices. Now I have 1 medium slice and 1 small slice out of a kid's pizza. That's what I eat. And that fills me now, and that's okay. And I had to learn that a little trick I had to start teaching myself was that this isn't the last time I'm ever going to eat this food.
Come on, that's good. No,
so
it's true.
It is. I don't need to eat 5 slices, because chances are I'm going to have this again in about 6 days. It's okay to enjoy, it's okay to enjoy good food. The thing is, you just have to moderate how much you eat of that good food. And even sweets. I still like brownies on occasion. I do. Jana will tell you, and some of my girlfriends will tell you, my favorite thing right now is chocolate babka. But I do look at the label, how much sugar it has in it, how much per ounce, how much per slice. I do look at that, and because I'm very careful how I cut it, because I'm like, okay, it's supposed to be 16 slices. So I cut it out so that I know, okay, this is what I get each day. I don't need 4 slices of this in a day. I only need 1, or maybe half of 1. It's just but I'm human. I don't want anybody to think that I'm like this veggie eater or crunchy mom, because I'm not at all.
I had to, I'm not crunchy. I became a little crunchy during Whole30, because you have to. But there's not a lot of crunch here. So we talked a little bit about nutrition, and just real quick, and I do want to hit on nutrition, is how important is it, which we all know it's important, but you just talked about pizza and chocolate that you eat. But so how do you balance? Because here you are, this size 8, right? So how do you balance what you eat? And I mean, do you not eat bread during the week and you only eat it on one day?
I think it's, a lot of it is, factoring in on weight loss. I've talked about a little bit, when I first started my weight loss journey, I focused on the food I consumed first, not the types of food that I was eating, but just the amount of food that I was eating. For me, mentally, that was an easier change. It was an easier fix for me to just focus on the amount of food. Like I said earlier, cutting my food in half. That was for me, it was all about baby steps. That was my first baby step, was cutting my food in half. And I was fine. I wasn't starving to death. I was great. I was just fine. Then once I got a handle on that, I cut out the obvious things that I knew could be strains on my weight loss. And that was sodas. Well, I cut sodas out from the beginning. I cut out sodas, and I cut out sweets. Like I said, the Little Debbies, the Ding Dongs, the Ho-Hos, Star Crunches, whatever is on the little aisle right where you check out at Walmart. Let me tell you, the little Nutella things that's on the, like when you're checking out, they had those little mini.
Yeah, that you dip the thing in.
Dips.
Yeah.
Girl, you don't need those. Don't even pick them up. Don't even pick them up. And and that's what I had to tell myself. Just don't buy it. Don't put it in the cart. And that's hard. And I want people to know that I understand that is hard. When you do have a sugar addiction, it is hard to not put it in the cart. It really is. And I understand that, and I feel that, but you can do it. You so can do it. Yeah. It's hard. But that's why I carry a bottle of water to the grocery store.
Yeah, for real.
When I go in, I do. I'll take my bottle of water and put it in my purse. And if I do start, and like I said, I had a food addiction, and addiction is something that you struggle with for a long time. It's not something that's just gone overnight. I still struggle with it. I know that if that starts coming back, the things that I have to do to get out of that, and that's okay. That's just being human. You're not going to be perfect at everything. You're just not. And that's okay. You don't have to be.
Yeah. And I think we keep going back to your mind and your mindset and really changing your mindset. And I like to carry the water. I carry it as well. And, black grapes are one of my secrets, because I'm a sugar addict. And so I know they have the natural sugar in it, but heck, I'm not eating a Snickers or, chocolate bar. I'm eating the black grapes, which they're fantastic. Right. If you've not tried them, I just carry a bag in my purse.
Yeah. And I now treat fruits as a dessert for me.
Mm-hmm, me too.
Dessert fruits are a dessert for me. That's I don't eat a lot of fruits throughout the day, just because there is a lot of there can be a lot of sugar in fruits. I do eat them because they're good for you, and you should eat fruit. But I don't eat a whole lot. It's like a special treat to have fruits. A lot of times now when we go out to eat, I do make choices like choosing fish or chicken, grilled chicken. Don't be afraid to ask your food. Like I said, we go out to eat a lot. Don't be afraid to say, don't put salt on that, or, what are you using on it? Are you soaking it in butter? Exactly. Don't be afraid to ask. You're a consumer. You can say, I want you to cook it this way, or, can you do it that way? And most people will oblige you for the most part, depending on where you eat. Now, if you go to McDonald's and you ask for no salt on your burger, well, don't be ridiculous.
For real. For real. It's so true.
But that's what I say. It was baby steps, and then I started changing the types of foods that I was eating, but it was all, my biggest nutrition tips for people is eat food. Do not starve your body, because a lot of people come into it with the mindset when they start Plexus, or they're, when you're eating, is that you can't say, I'm going to stop eating because I need to lose weight. That's the complete opposite of what you need to do. You need to eat at least 5 small meals a day. And people are like, well, what's a small meal? A protein and a good carb. And your protein should never be bigger than this section of your hand. I can go to Outback and order the 6-ounce filet. That's what I order, the Outback Special 6-ounce. I cut it in half. I eat 3 ounces. I split it with my 5-year-old. That's what I eat. And I have a baked potato and a salad at Outback. That's what I eat. But I know my body. I know my limits. I know how much I can eat and feel comfortable, and what is good for my body and what's not. And that just takes time for you to figure those types of things out. My body thrives on protein. The more protein I eat, the better I feel. I try to eat between 60 to 80 grams of protein a day. Some people think that's a lot, but it's not. For me. When I first started, it seemed like a lot, but not now. 70 to 80 grams of protein is pretty common for me to eat right now. Cut back your breads and your pastas. Those will help you if you can cut out bread and pasta. Dairy, cutting out dairy. The only time I have dairy now is if I have some cereal or something like that in my grape nuts or something like that, Not my Fruit Loops. I do like a bowl of Cocoa Puffs on occasion. I'm just going to tell you, right?
Just be honest.
I'm just being honest. And green leafy vegetables. Anytime you can eat a green leafy vegetable, incorporate that into your diet, that's going to be awesome. So if you can have a type of protein and some leafy vegetables, that's going to be the best thing for you. If you can do that at least twice a day, you'll really get a good jump start on your weight loss for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's definitely true. I found that out with the Whole30. So right. I know we're headed to the end. It's 8:54, and I'm sure we have some questions. Jana is on to, y'all can't see her quite yet, but she's going to have to do the questions because she jumped on it, and so the questions hopped over to her. But I do want to, I saved the best for last. I know it was the first question I gave you when I gave you the questions, but I saved the best for last because I want you to give us your top 5 tips on how to maximize your weight loss using our Plexus products.
All right. The first thing that I'd say, and I already said this, is number one, be consistent with your products. Same time every day, same regimen every day. Be consistent from the time you get up to the time you go to bed. Be consistent. Number two is drink your water. Half your weight in ounces. If you can't hit that, then your minimum should be shooting for 90 ounces a day, 80 to 90 ounces of water a day. Get it in. No matter what, make it a priority in your day to drink your water. I have a bottle I sit on my desk in my office, and I have a 50-ounce bottle that I keep in the kitchen because I'm in the kitchen all day, because we go in and out of the garage to my bedroom, to my bathroom. And so every time I go by, I just take a drink. And every time I'm sitting at my desk, I'll take a drink. And sometimes I'll even play games to get my water in, because that's kind of weirdo I am. Like whenever I see the word, when I'm working, if the word Plexus pops up in a conversation or whatever, I drink water. That's just what I do. It keeps it fun. That's the kind of person I am. Sorry.
I love it. I think it's fun.
Number three is be mindful of what you put in your mouth. You can eat things that you like. Just be mindful of the amount of things that you're putting in your mouth. And that's really what the most important thing, I think, for people in weight loss is being mindful of the amount of that you're putting in your mouth, because you can eat healthy and still gain weight. Just because you're eating healthy doesn't mean you won't gain weight. So that just means you're eating too much of whatever you're eating. So be mindful of the amounts of food that you're putting in your mouth. Number four, incorporate some type of diet. Some type of exercise into your daily routine. Like I said, even if it's just going outside and walking up and down the street, if you have a set of stairs, go up and down those stairs 10 times. You don't have to run up and down them. Just walk up and down your stairs 10 times. You'll be surprised at how much it takes out of you. I have 20 steps going upstairs. And sometimes I'll do jumps. I didn't do this from the beginning, but I'll start at the bottom and jump up 2 steps. Hop up 2 steps, and I'll do that like 4 times, and it flat wears me out, but I get a good workout in. Now, I didn't do that at the beginning. At the beginning, I would have just started walking up the steps 10 times. So don't start jumping up 2 steps, break your ankle, and then blame it all on me. I didn't tell you to do. And then number 5, I downloaded the app. It's called MyFitnessPal onto my phone. And I use that to track my food. You can go into that and you can put in your height, you can put in your weight, and you can even put in the amount of weight that you want to lose in a certain time period. And it will show you the amount of calories that you need to consume in a day in order to hit that weight loss goal. And it will show you, you'll be able to see the calories for all your food, the protein, how much protein's in what you've consumed throughout the day, your carbs that you've eaten for the day, and the fats that you consumed for the day. And that's the big thing, is you want to make sure that you're keeping that at like 40% protein, 30% carb, and 30% fat. You don't want the fat to be at like 60 or 70%, because then you will gain weight. So make sure your protein is the highest number in that section and not the fat. But that's my top 5 tips. Be consistent, drink your water, be mindful of what you're putting in your mouth, incorporate some type of exercise daily, and then download the MyFitnessPal app because everybody needs a helping hand. And that's basically what the MyFitnessPal app does. And I encourage all my customers to use it as well.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. And I have a bonus question. I didn't give you this. I'm doing this on the fly. So are you nervous? Are you shaking? So if you have a customer come to you and they want to lose weight, and of course everybody wants to get skinny quick, right? Get skinny quick, get skinny quick. What are the products you are going to suggest?
Well, like I said, I ask them my regular questions.
Right.
Because if they're 5'2" and they only weigh 115 pounds and they want to lose 10 pounds fast, I'm upfront and real with them. And I'm like, look, if that's the last 5 or 10 pounds you got to lose, that's not coming off in 2 weeks. That's not coming off in 30 days. That's going to take good products, good supplement, and a good diet. That's what that's going to take.
Yeah.
Be honest and upfront with them. Now, if it's somebody that stands to lose a lot of weight, personally, I start my people slow. I start them on Slim and X Factor first. I see, because I want to see what that does to their body first. So I start them on Slim and X Factor. But if they do tell me that they struggle with chronic fatigue, or if they have sugar, they're addicted to sugar and carbs and lots of cravings, then I do add ProBio to that too. But I don't want to put everything on them all at once, because I feel like a lot of times our bodies are in a bad place already. And sometimes when you put a lot in, it confuses a lot real fast. And I like to see how my clients are going to react to each product individually. And when you start them all at 4 or 5 products at the same time, then you're having to back off all of those to figure out which one's causing the issue. But if I'm starting with, Slim, X Factor, and ProBio, I can pretty much guarantee if there's a problem, usually it's with the ProBio and it's die-off. Because normally the X Factor and the Slim doesn't cause a lot of issues, but if they start experiencing odd things or gaining weight, I can usually attribute it to the ProBio 5, because of their bodies and what the probiotic is capable of doing with die-off. So, but that's how I start my customers.
So you really don't ever start anybody with an accelerator or a boost or a
I offer it to them, but I tell them that that's not something they have to do from the beginning. Especially just because I want them to get their blood sugar balanced first. That's, to me, I want them easy, and I want them balanced from the beginning. And I feel like getting them balanced and getting the protein and getting the vitamins into their body and getting the aloe into their body, where their body is going to absorb things better and more accurately. That is what I think works the best, is getting them Slim and X Factor, getting that all in there, getting everything working, drinking your water, being consistent with that, and then add on the ProBio, and then we're seeing where it's at. And then if they're like, well, I kind of like to lose my weight a little faster, then I add the accelerator for them. I recommend the accelerator. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Bonus question.
I just start with them from the beginning that, this is not an instant gratification supplement. It's not. This is a tool. I want you to get healthy from the inside out first, and then we will work on losing the weight at a higher rate. But first, let's get you balanced out and make sure your body's ready to take that on, and then we'll do it.
Yeah, for sure. Janet's telling me we don't have any questions, so if there's anybody who has one,
I must have answered them all.
I know, like you're a rock star. Woo! All right, so she said no questions. So we're gonna go ahead, and I think we hit a lot of stuff, and I think it's so important. It goes back to mindset, and if you go in with, especially because, hey, we're ambassadors, we're doing this as a business, and one thing I've seen as doing is it a business is, as I lose weight, people run to me, right? They're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing?
Yes.
So that really helps the business side of things. So that really, honestly, can I be real? It's helped my mindset and helped my confidence level on it, to where I'm going to not go eat those cookies or that ice cream sandwich, because I want to grow a business. I know that's so funny, but it's helped with my mindset and really helped with my commitment level too, to really get there. So I think that's huge. And I think, the water, I really think it's important that people log their water. I say that all the time. I don't know if you have your customers or ambassadors do that, but log it, because just because you think you're drinking enough water, you're really not.
Well, and here's the problem is that, let me just show you what's on my desk. I have this bottle, it's 50 ounces. I have this bottle that's, I think, 12 ounces or something. And then I've got this bottle that's 16 ounces. So when you drink all these waters, you're like, oh, how much water did I drink? And then you're like, well, I think I drank it, but I'm not real sure. Be consistent. This is what non-consistency looks like. I
actually log it on my Fitbit. On my Fitbit, I can log when I drink water. And so I log it on my Fitbit. I try to remember to do that every day, because then I know, hey, did I get my water? Especially when I'm out running around and busy and don't have access to my water thing at home. I can't refill my Plexus bottle, so it helps you lose track of where you are. So I try to keep track as much as possible. So I think that's all we had. Jenna is still saying there's no questions. So unless you had anything else, I think we're good.
No, I don't have anything. Thanks for everybody being on.
Yes, thank you so much. I mean, just your passion. And I think we could have a whole call on really listening to your body and really knowing those signals and how to listen to your body. But thank you for being on. I appreciate you. And we'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.